When I think of Nathan Fielder, I think of this. I'm not saying Nathan Fielder's face looks like a urinal or anything, but more so the idea of taking something that exists and altering its context. As in, is this merely a urinal, or is it art? What purpose does this hunk of porcelain better serve? Maybe it's a cliche example, but I like to think of Nathan Fielder's show, Nathan For You, in the same way. Through satirizing a specific subgenre of reality television, certain individual and cultural behaviors become outlined or exposed. Here's the structure of a typical episode. Unsuspecting, struggling business owner believe they are in a reality show, and Nathan represents a business expert and Canadian savior. In actuality, his show is closer to performance art than an episode of Kitchen Nightmares. And no, not that type of performance art.
Do it! Just do it!
His ideas to save businesses are often, to put it gently, really fucking weird. For example, in one episode, to help a struggling antique store, his plan involves a drunk, a free pizza, an oversized sumo outfit, and fragile antiques barely balancing on the edge of tightly packed shelves. You break it, you buy it.
Catalog to broken items.
You're pretty clumsy, huh?
Is there any way I can take this thing off?
Why do business owners allow Nathan to carry out these insane and misguided business remedies? Perhaps for some, they have nothing to lose. For others, however, the expensive lights, cameras, and a crew surrounding them bring the guise of credibility. Nathan becomes a figure of authority. I basically liken this interaction between Nathan and owner to a very poignant scene in Fincher's Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Why don't people trust their instincts? They sense something is wrong, someone is walking too close behind them. You knew something was wrong, but you came back into the house. Did I force you? Did I drag you in? No. All I had to do was offer you a drink. It's hard to believe that fear of offending can be stronger than the fear of pain, but you know what? It is. And they always come willingly.
Owners are more afraid to offend Nathan than stopping him from carrying out his ideas. Quick history lesson. In 1963, Yale psychologist Stanley Milgram conducted a series of experiments that eventually became known as the Milgram experiment. Milgram set out to explore a relationship with obedience and authority. Without getting too much into the details, participants were instructed to teach word pairs to another person called the learner. Unbeknownst to the participant, however, was that these learners were in on the experiment and a part of Milgram's team. The learner would get tested on these word pairs and purposefully make a mistake. The subject was instructed to punish the learner by giving them an electric shock, which increased in voltage every time they got one wrong. The shocks were in reality harmless, though the participants were not made aware of this. In a nutshell, the experiment concluded that a high proportion of people were prepared to obey a figure of authority, albeit at times unwillingly, even if that meant apparently causing serious injury and distress to another individual. Hosts, or the main characters on the shows Nathan satirizes, are ultimate figures of authority, capable of doing no wrong or making mistakes, irreproachable. And any morality lesson in the show has to be learned through them. They are testosterone-fueled, authoritative, domineering husks of masculinity. Through the exaggerations and overt humor that characterize the ideas behind episodes, Nathan For You becomes anti-reality TV. It acts much the same like Duchamp's Fountain did, criticizing and commenting on the state of art and culture at the time. His show acts as a sort of text to decode this guru genre of reality TV. In the words of my favorite overweight Eastern European philosopher, Slavoj Žižek, we feel free because we lack the very language to articulate our unfreedom. In other words, Nathan For You supplies us with rhetoric that endeavors to deconstruct why shows like Bar Rescue, Kitchen Nightmares, The Prophet, Pawn Stars, The Apprentice, and Mystery Diners, among others, are particularly so dangerous. Reality TV is private life made public, and sometimes the product is a bit unsavory. The desire for success and fear of failure compels people to enter scenarios where they are powerless. Every episode tells the same basic story with only two general binary outcomes. Listen to the expert and have your business and way of life saved, or have your business fail due to your impotence and ignorance. These hosts are ultimately attempting to instill certain patterns of behavior onto the everyday people featured on their shows. These behaviors are founded on the idea that happiness can be obtained through the merits of capitalism. Nathan For You, I would argue, applies more narrative in a typical episode, but the biggest difference is in the main character, the host himself. Nathan is shy, lonely, and full of self-doubt.
Thank you. I mean,
Take care. I mean, if you want to hang out sometime time outside.
He plays a character that is struggling to adapt in a society that he is ill-adjusted for, and the show represents his desperate need to form legitimate human connections. And maybe that's precisely the reason why I like his show so much. A little bit of humanity is put into a genre where humanity is anything but the priority.
In life, not everyone will see your vision, but it's important to always take the high road. And sometimes the best way to brighten spirits is with a gift.
I won't argue Nathan doesn't profit off the businesses he attempts to help, or use owners for the sake of his show, but the key difference between Nathan For You and the genre it satirizes is the lessons Nathan is learning usually aren't capitalistic in nature. Nathan learning how to become a better person is a major focus and overarching theme on the show. These lessons become imparted to the audience because Nathan is a generally more relatable character. We learn as Nathan learns. Besides, sometimes the show is genuinely funny, and I look forward to the cringe that comes after he details another weird fucking idea. Nathan teaches us there are things to be learned from failure, and there are genuine moments of sincerity on his show.
As we drove to JJ's apartment, I thought my night was over. But that's when he started talking to me about his sex life.
Tag team a girl, yeah.
Tag team a girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, what's that?
It's when you have a threesome with 2 guys and 1 girl.
And you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do it with my brother a lot, actually.
Oh, really?
Me and my brother are dogs.
JJ began going into detail about the threesomes he has with his brother, and at that point, I really just wanted to get home.
At the heart of Nathan's character, there is someone who simply wants to make a friend, understand people better, and find a companion, maybe even someone to fall in love with. And he teaches us sometimes it's even okay not to be the best looking, most successful business expert in the world. Maybe that's what Nathan means when he says he's for you.
I love you.
Again.
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 I love you.
Okay, so maybe his face does look a little bit like a urinal.